So my name is Andrew Tanzil. I work for the Score Esports. I'm an assistant producer there. I've been doing esports myself for about 4 to 5 years, give or take, bouncing around from different amateur teams here and there. And now I found myself actually doing this as a career, which is actually super surprising to me. So yeah, awesome. I'm super lucky to be in this position. Like most people aren't able to like a lot of people really want to get into esports, they just don't know how to get in there. You usually start with trying to get yourself out there into the world. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who try to put themselves out there, and they sacrifice themselves by doing free labor and etc. And then they don't really get anything in return, and just becomes like a big mess of like this unequal workforce in the equal ecosystem, which really kind of sucks. But I consider myself one of the lucky few who is able to actually be able to do this for a living. Journey. I guess I can start like of course like as being in esports, I'm a huge gamer. Being from like I guess I would say like Asian family kind of sense, they kind of like unsupported my kind of hobby, and they were like, oh, it's like oh you shouldn't be gaming all the time. It's a waste of time, etc. Yada yada, all that. So I was kind of trying to find myself in a way where I would say what do you call that? I needed to find a hobby that's outside of gaming that I'll be able to do so. So I started with graphic design, which is what I was doing before, and now I kind of got into the field. I started like, hey, you know what? Actually, I can do something with gaming without actually gaming. So I started actually making graphics for uh, community organizations, eventually moving to larger gaming organizations and working with them. And through that, I got picked up by the score. I feel very comfortable right now. Like I'm in a very creative background. I'm in this unique position where I'm able to like kind of move around within esports. I know like League's not gonna last forever, so I have to be able to transition myself appropriately to something else where I can find myself in passion. Fortunately, I love all games, and even if like I do grow out of it, like God forbids, I can always go into like broadcasting or go back into graphic design or even filmmaking, which I'm doing studying right now a little bit. I'm actually really bad at the league initially, but I watch a lot of games. Actually, when I started working with a pro team, it, how I pass the time, like doing graphic design, I would listen to their scrims. I would listen to their coach, how's their coaching, and doing this like every night for like 2 to 3 hour sessions. I was able to actually pick up a lot of like macro game and communication, um, like basically mindset. I was able to learn off the coaches and actually be able to analyze the game at a really high level, especially in pick and bans and team coordination and communications. So I work more in a macro sense and data analytic sense if I'm an analyst. I was very starstruck at first. Um, the first team that I found, like first team I'd say legitimate team I found myself. It was a team called Final Five. We had Sugar Race, and we had Rux, and our mid laner was Gate. So I was like super starstruck at that time, and it was actually a fantastic team, good environment. We almost made LCS, didn't didn't manage to get there, but after from that, I joined a team that's called Brawl, and I worked together with their manager Christian Bauman, and I was able to score a contract and of getting Alex Itch in North America. So it went up pretty well. Or like somebody who's able to work like kind of like in the backgrounds and move the different pieces around. I'm really interested right now in storylines in the different esports scenes. So I've been following CS:GO, Smash, and Overwatch lately, and the same trends are happening. They're happening like early day league that I can see. So there's all these like stories, and then people start calling each other out on Twitter. So I want to get those stories and to people, so then people can basically experience what I'm witnessing on a daily basis, as well as like these rumored roster swaps are very interesting too. I would say the impact is based on the community in different type of regions. I'm Canadian myself in Toronto. We're I guess we're one of the larger esports cities out there in the world. But if you go to somewhere like Vancouver, or you go to like another smaller town, they have never heard of esports. So of course the community is not lacking there, and there's no infrastructure. However, I believe as like the, as games grow and people are more community driven, it's going to be more acceptable in the mainline industry. Especially for me, like I can see people like in Toronto, people like CNN or CTV are going around like, oh, what is this thing? They're trying to figure it out, and they're trying to see if they could do it right. The score originally was like a sports app, just like doing sports, and they're able to implement esports into it. Yahoo Esports, they suddenly getting into this business too. I think ESPN has one too. So these large mediums are actually starting to like kind of like, huh, you know what? Actually, there might be something here. And I believe esports can grow. I would give it the next 10 years to be like kind of like the next big things are starting to emerge. And then maybe in like 20, 15 or 20 years, it's going to be like mainstream. Knowledge is in League of Legends right now. I'm moving closer to Overwatch lately. I find it like super interesting. I often watch CS:GO, but it's really fast. I can't really tell what's happening because people are just swapping teams. And currently Dota is like, I don't know, it's abysmal to me because like um, recently they had like all these roster swaps, and I call it the Dota apocalypse because every single team is dropping the roster. How would I describe it? Like I didn't really feel that it grew very, very fast. Like, of course, like you scaled it down from like season one, where you're basically watching it from the bottom of a freak's basement, until now, where you're taking like full arena stadiums, like I think they had in the Korean stadium and etc. It's huge. So, oh, oh, okay, that is unfortunate. What just happened there? But I'm just gonna finish off the question now since I'm here. But basically, what I see is kind of like you're moving together with uh, someone you're growing up with, and you don't see the immediate large changes. So it kind of grows on it, and um, yeah, it basically grows on you, and you just follow along as the scene develops, and etc. So that's kind of like how I view it, in a sense. Unfortunately, this is but basically I kind of what I explained was that esports kind of grew kind of like I don't see the immediate changes as something that's like explosive to me. It's kind of like a gradual change, as if you're like growing up with a brother or sibling. You just kind of walk with it, and you're like, oh shit, look how big you are, right? So that's how I kind of view it, and etc.